My next guest encourages us to love on and learn from the little children in our lives because she says all children are precious to God. Tracy Browning was called as second counselor in the primary general presidency for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in April of 2022. At the time of that call, she was serving on the Relief Society General Advisory Council. She is a wife, a mother of two, and a woman we are so excited to get to know a little bit better. I am honored to welcome Sister Browning to Studio 5. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
I just told Sister Browning we haven't met. I follow you online, and I love your peaceful presence. You have a calming way about you.
Thank you. That is a great compliment.
You do, and we have an unintentional connection that I'll just quickly share. Again, never met, but I was just released as primary chorister in my congregation in my ward. It was a calling that I held so dearly. I loved it. And you, Sister Browning, have taken on the personal challenge to learn those children's hymns, those primary songs the last year.
Absolutely.
Why did you decide to take that on?
Well, first of all, thank you for serving those children in your ward.
Oh,
in your
I love
community,
it.
Singing to them and
I
helping
love
them
it.
feel the Spirit. I really felt that I didn't get that experience when I was young. I was baptized when I was 16 years old, so went straight into the youth program, which was a fabulous opportunity. But being able to have this assignment serving in the primary general presidency kind of has allowed me to have a little bit of a do-over. I feel like I get to go to primary again, and we know that a big part of the experience in primary is the music.
Yeah.
So many adults, as I talked to them when I came into this assignment, kind of connected going back in time with something that they learned and felt of the Spirit when they were in primary as they sang. So I wanted,
simple truth.
It's true. It's so simple. And it's clear, and it is, it's uplifting. So I wanted to feel a lot of that too. So I sort of, I'm trying. I go around, I ask a lot of primary children, what's your favorite song? And then I come back and I share.
You share your impressions through social media, which is where I soak it up. I'm going to ask a mean question then. What is your favorite song?
That's really tough.
I know it's terrible.
It's a tough question because I fall in love every week.
I know.
But I can tell you that recently, I have been drawn to the song, I'm Trying to Be Like Jesus. I find myself singing it sort of apropos to nothing, often it coming to my mind. So I've been feeling a lot of that, the message in that particular children's hymn.
It's been noted that you are the first Black woman to serve in a general presidency and the first Black woman to speak in general conference. That is significant. What is the personal significance of that for you?
Well, certainly I'm honored to have the privilege of serving in this assignment, and certainly of having had the privilege of speaking at General Conference, but something that continues to remind me that I am not the first Black woman to be standing and speaking and expounding Scripture and testifying and teaching. That's happening in the church every week all over the world. There are lots of leaders in communities that are minority communities included, Black brothers and sisters, Asian, Latino, lots of different people who are serving in the gospel of Jesus Christ before I received this assignment, and will do so long after my time in this particular calling expires. I'm grateful to be part of that community, grateful for those privileges, but acknowledge that I'm not the first to do some of the things that we're each doing in our personal ministry every single day.
Well said. Well said. I admire that answer deeply. You are a wife. You are a mom to two. How would you describe your family vibe, Sister Browning? We
love to play. I think about so much of the good times in our family is really encompassed around pulling a game out of our closet and laughing uproariously around trying to be quasi-competitive in these games. We love to vacation together. Jamaica is one of our favorite places. It's my homeland, land of my ancestors, so we enjoy going back there. We love beaches. We love coconut trees and all those kinds of things. We tend to like to play. So
I love that.
That's what I would call our vibe.
You mentioned that you joined the church when you were 16. And I'm curious to know, we live in a time now when a lot of young people are choosing to pull away from organized religion. At 16 years old, though, you leaned in. As you look back at 16-year-old Tracy, can you identify a characteristic or an attribute in you that drew you to God or drew you to religion?
Growing up in New York City, in Queens particularly, I felt like 1 in a million or a billion people. It's really easy, I think, in big cities and in inner cities to get lost in just the vastness of people and the the bustle of life.
It can be lonely.
It can be incredibly lonely to a certain degree, even though you're surrounded by lots of people.
Yeah.
When I was introduced to the gospel of Jesus Christ and I started to be taught by the missionaries, I was having this really interesting experience where the light of Christ coming into my life and being acknowledged very strongly made me feel known in ways that I felt unknown. Just being in this city, I would accept invitations to read the scriptures, to pray, to ponder, and then inside of me, light started to grow, and I felt very known to God. Once you start having spiritual experiences where you're connecting with Heavenly Father and you feel love, you can sense that it is vital to have those kind of experiences, to want to lean in, because once you have light, you don't want the lights to go back off. And I felt like there was so much during that time where I was existing in darkness, not really knowing, just trying to adjust.
Sure.
But once I was introduced to light, I didn't want to turn it off. It's really, inviting.
Yeah.
It's warm.
Yeah.
And I was finding that in myself as I accepted those invitations. I was finding that in others. I saw their light. I was being warmed by their light as I was interacting with members who had bound themselves by covenant to God and was bringing me in and embracing me. It was a beautiful experience. So I leaned in young, and I stay in the light.
Good for you. Great answer as well. You know, we did our research on you, and I'm going to pay you this compliment. You don't speak, Sister Browning, without speaking of God. Whether it's social media, whether it's here on a television platform, or whether it's in front of a crowd, you speak of God often. And you acknowledge God for giving you many gifts, one of which is the ability to easily love other people. What a gift that is. So I want to call on that. What is one thing we can do, if that's not our natural inclination, to extend ourselves in love toward our brothers and sisters? What is one thing we can do as women to form that connection?
There's always a sense in me that the things that I'm looking for, many people are looking for. I'm looking to be known. I'm looking to be acknowledged. I'm desiring someone to express, warmth and friendship and extend that to me. I know that I'm searching for that often, especially in places where I might feel isolated.
Yeah.
Or in circumstances that are unknown to others. I am looking and reaching for things, even when I seem to be pulling away because I feel uncomfortable. I am desiring something. And when we recognize that so many around us are going through similar things, in that not the circumstances may not be the same, but at the root of things, we have a lot in common as people. And a little bit of kindness and a little bit of friendship and a little bit of smile goes a long way. Giving people best intention instead of maybe making assumptions about, but offering best intent when you're with people, I think really helps. And I know that for me, I just find people interesting. I think that I love to hear their stories, and I feel so connected with God's children. They just, to me, and all the beauty that God has created in this world for us, to me, the crowning jewel are people. And I have found that to be true. I love nature, and I seek to be in it, as we talked about. But I want to be with people too. It's not an isolating experience. I think that we are just, the best part of this experience is getting to know people.
Oh, I love that, and how you described when those insecurities set in. And they do for all of us. There's that natural, the natural knee-jerk is to pull back.
Yeah.
But you're saying lean in and extend that warmth and light you described to those around us. And I love the idea of celebrating God's greatest creation, which is each other. It's us. It's
Absolutely.
us. Your role in your calling and service for the church is to serve the children.
Yes.
And you point us to lessons we can learn from them all of the time. What do you think is one standout lesson that, no matter our age or life experience, that we can learn from these little kiddos?
I also, I tend to talk to leaders about how children may be small in stature. Sometimes in our congregations, they're hard to see in our meetings where we're all together.
Unless it's my 2-year-old and she makes herself known.
Great. Love that.
Okay.
Love that she does that, because I want us to recognize and see them in our congregations. They can be small in stature, but they're not small in spirit. And I think there is something really beautiful about this phase in childhood that doesn't have the complexity of language that we get. They don't have big words. They have to explain things very simply, and they use simple things to teach us and to communicate. And so much of the way they speak to me pierces me because of the simplicity of their language. And they're very sort of, their fearlessness in what they know is true. They just proclaim things. Once they know it's true, there's not a lot of equivocating. They just proclaim things, and they do that so fearlessly. So it makes their testimony quite powerful to me. And I hope that as we consider who disciples of Jesus Christ could be, who are followers of Jesus Christ. And I think for a lot of us, when I say the word disciple or I say the word follower, we see an effigy of an adult. And I tend to see alongside an adult an effigy of a child. They're at 8 years old, we invite children to make covenants, and they do. And they are also disciples. So as we invite them to use their discipleship, look at them as disciples, treat them as disciples, they will rise to whatever bar we set for them.
I love your words. I love your lens. Thank you for your service and your example and for charging us up today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Great to know you, Sister Browning.